Lewis, could we start with you, please? We heard the very sad news last night about the death of commentator Murray Walker. How do you remember him?
I just remember hearing this iconic voice. Growing up watching all the Grand Prix, he really made the sport exciting. You know, there's been no one like him that I've seen on TV. That even without watching the TV, if you're out of the room and you hear him, you're excited. You know, it makes you want to run back in and see what's happening. And yeah, he's very much loved around the world. I think, particularly obviously in the UK, and I think his contribution to the sport is huge. And obviously, me growing up watching him through that early phase of my life and hearing him is no one can come close. So it's naturally sad to hear his passing, but I think he's had a long, great life. I think I'll hope and pray that I have the opportunity to live a long life like he has.
Max, just a few thoughts from you on winter testing, the progress with the car?
Yeah, my first day has been all right. I mean, I did a lot of laps, so that was very good. The feeling in the car was nice. Yeah, so it was pretty comfortable out there. Just the track conditions, you know, it was very warm and very windy as well, which didn't make it easy to set up the car. But yeah, we luckily didn't have any issues. So that's of course what you want from that first day.
Valtteri, you were saying yesterday that one of the biggest problems with the car was the rear end. Was that improved this morning? It seemed like it might have been from looking on track.
It feels like we've made some steps forward. Obviously, there's always more to find always and more to gain. But I think from my feeling, we went to right direction and it felt better. Still not 100% happy with the car, as you would never be at this early stage of a season. But yeah, we keep working. We keep trying to get balance better and get the car behave nicer, and hopefully that way be faster. And it's just completely unknown where we are at the moment. You know, with three days of testing, with the first day being compromised, it's so hard to say, but we really focus on our work and try to be faster and faster.
My question is for the Mercedes drivers. Do you see Red Bull as the new favorites looking so far at the tests?
I would go back to my previous answer. It's so hard to say at the moment where we are, where other teams are, and obviously we don't know their run program, what engine modes they're running, what kind of fuel load. But I have a feeling it's going to be close.
I don't really focus on that kind of stuff, and I think they're getting through there. They've had obviously some really good running. Max is looking at both the drivers. I think have been looking quite strong, and they're going to be a different machine or animal this year with I think a real good strong lineup of the two drivers, and I think and a really good car. So I think. Having seen them win in the last race, you can only assume they're going to be right there, if not at the front at the first race, and it's going to be a great long battle with them through the year.
Max, coming to you, do you think Red Bull is a different beast this year?
A bit too early to say, but I had positive feelings in the car, but we'll find out in Q3 for the first race weekend where we are. You know, that's where we can judge our performance. But from the test so far, it's been a good few days now. But that doesn't mean that we are happy. You know, we always want to improve and try to be better.
The drivers met with Stefano and Ross a few days ago to discuss plans for this year. One of the topics that was going to be discussed was the plans for the pre-race, anti-racism messaging and social messaging. I just wanted to know, could you give us an update on how those talks went? And are you happy with what everyone has planned for this year in terms of its anti-racism messaging?
It was a really good meeting. Stefano, I think it's already a great first step that Stefano's taken a time to sit with us all and be open in terms of having this discussion of how we can work together to improve the sport. I think last year there was a lot of, we had the slogans obviously we raced one, but action is needed this year, and so that was something that was spoken to us, was expressed to us, and I think that's really what we've got to make sure that we continue to have that conversation, continue to make sure that action is taken this year as we continue to push for diversity and inclusion within this sport, and I think they're aligned. I think we're all aligned with that goal of achieving that together.
Our rookies for 2021. Now, Mick, can we start with you? You're fresh out of the car. Your last chance to drive it prior to the first race. How was it?
It was good. It was really fun. Obviously enjoying driving. First day was unfortunately a bit short on mileage, but we really caught up in those 2 days with no issues. Got to do long runs, short runs, low fuel, high fuel, which was really good. So now I feel really good. I feel ready, and I'm looking forward to the weekend now.
And found your rhythm with the car?
Yeah, I have to say I feel comfortable. I feel like I can really feel the differences in the car that we make, and obviously, bring the feedback that we need to move forwards.
Okay, well, let's move on to your teammate Nikita. How's it been for you so far?
Well, starting from the first day or let's say the first half day that we've had, the running went quite smooth for us. So yeah, we were able to complete all the necessary running and the testing that we've planned originally. I obviously gathered some experience in the car that's Ferrari powered, so a little bit different to what I'm used to, but main thing is data gathering and getting settled into the car went well, and now I think that I'm getting to a level where I feel confident to go into my first race weekend, and it's really, really fun to drive these Formula 1 cars. They're really much faster than what I'm used to in the past.
Great stuff. Thank you, Nikita. And Yuki, similar sentiments from you, I would imagine. How's it gone so far?
Yeah, these 2 days I think we have really good progress. It's for also the car and for myself driving. Yeah, also working with Pierre is really good. We always had a really similar feedback for the car, so for the team it's easier to go step forward to make car better.
Mick, after you finished your program, your test program, what is the aspect which impressed or surprised you most? Thank you.
Well, I think that really feeling the difference between the two tracks, so night track and day track, has been very impressive. Also feeling how the tires behave in those different conditions were very interesting for me. So I think, as Nikita mentioned, I think we've been able to drive, in most conditions, windy conditions, gusty conditions, which also is, another step closer to having driven in most conditions. And obviously, F1 cars in general are a bit more wind affected than F2 cars, so that's something which I had to learn on a new level. But definitely felt like I had the resources and had the knowledge to kind of really come around that.
For Mick, and I apologise for it being a slightly negative question, but we saw George Russell win the F2 title and then come into Formula One, and it took him the best part of 2 years to score any points, and he still hasn't scored any points for his actual team. Are you prepared for that level of frustration at a team that only won 3 points last year? And also, the wider world has quite an expectation of the Schumacher name, so how do you manage those expectations?
Well, at the end, obviously, we want to, everybody in the team is very motivated, and I think that's really what gives also us the opportunity to really push every single individual in the team to try and, get as far forwards as we can. And I feel the motivation, I feel the passion for the sport, which is really nice. And obviously, I cannot tell what is going to happen this season, but I know that I will obviously do everything in my toolbox to really get it up in front and hopefully get some points. At the moment, obviously, just trying to learn and trying to build, and then hopefully for Bahrain we already have a clearer picture, and then obviously we'll gather more experience as the year progresses.
The question for Yuki. Yuki, you've got a strong benchmark of a teammate in Pierre who's very experienced. Because it's a short testing schedule, how much have you been looking at what he does and trying to learn from Pierre, and has he been helping you trying to get up to speed with the new car?
Yeah, Pierre definitely helps me, especially time management in race, and also Formula One wind effect is quite huge. And first session in Bahrain, well, first day I struggled a little bit to using the wings to make it come more faster. So Pierre helped me a lot of things, but also other side is we're always driving is different time, so it's hard to compare for the driving and the pace, but for example the time management, like I said, time management in the wind side, he definitely helps me, and now at the moment I'm learning for that.
Can we start please with a summary from each of you about how the test has gone so far? Gunther, perhaps we could start with you, please.
Up to now, pretty good. I mean, the first day, the first half a day, we had an issue with the car and we couldn't go out. I could go out very little. But the rest, it was very good yesterday, very productive day, over 160 laps. So very happy, because what we need is with the two rookie drivers, a lot of running, you know, whatever it is, we just need to run. That is the most important for us. And we achieved that yesterday. And this morning was good. The first day in the afternoon was good. So I hope we have got another half a day where we can just do a lot of running and get them used to Formula One, because with the test being only 3 days this year, you need every lap you can get into for new drivers.
And have you been impressed by the pace and the consistency of your rookie drivers?
We are not looking so much on the pace of it. For us, it's more about the learning. So that's why I couldn't say I was impressed or not impressed. I'm quite neutral on that one. For me, the most important thing is that they learn all the processes, procedure. They don't do anything wrong. They don't crash or anything like this. And I was impressed by that. I was quite impressed how actually prepared these two guys are. You know, when the feedback from them, I didn't expect that, to be honest. So that was very good. So I think we have got two guys we can build on for the future.
Mattia, how's it been going down at Ferrari?
It has been very busy and intense. I think so far it's run smoothly. The main priority was certainly to understand the car behavior, mapping in all the conditions, and that is where we focused our energy. I think so far we collected a lot of data. Those data obviously now need to be analyzed, understand the correlations with back wind tunnel simulators, etc. But I have to say that in terms of data measurements, all went very smooth, and we made our mileage, and somehow we follow our plan.
And how is Carlos Sainz settling in at his new team?
That was another one very important for us. He drove already some old cars in the last weeks and months. Important for us, him to integrate in the team with the engineers, with our procedures. But he made a lot of works to prepare himself to those tests and the start of seasons, as well back at Maranello, the simulator. And he's very well integrated, I have to say, as well with Charles. He's fitting very well, not only at the track, but outside of the track. And things in that respect, very encouraging. So very happy.
Simon, all things Williams, please.
Yeah, so far so good. You know, hopefully we have a good afternoon. We had a really super busy schedule, as everyone does, with just 3 days testing, but it's pretty much stuck to plan.
Mattia, you said in pre-season at the team launch that the sort of data from the engine for this year was looking more positive, that you had recovered a lot of the power that was lost last year. Now that you've been able to have 2.5 days on track with the car and with the new power unit, how has it matched up? Are you confident you recovered most of the deficit that was lost last year?
When we were here last year, Bahrain, for the race in quali, we've been very slow here on the straights. We didn't enter into Q3 and we were very distant from pole. Now if I look at on those days, I think at least on the speed, on the straight, the speed is all right. It do not seem to be such a disadvantage as it was last year. We know it's not only power, it's drag of the car as well, as we often said last year. But let me say that both of them contributed in improving our speed on the straights, and today we feel it's not anymore a disadvantage.